let's get started with a brief update on the Adpocalypse, the impending doom on Twitch.tv. If you've been following for the past couple of months, there has been a bunch of communities that have been actively trying to get some news coverage and some momentum surrounding this platform that we're on being really anti-Semitic. Ironically enough, they're on YouTube and on Kick for the most part, which are, you know, objectively more openly anti-Semitic platforms. Like, I don't think the platforms themselves are anti-Semitic, but they host a shit ton more openly overt anti-Semitic content creators. There is a deliberate effort to go to basically every single advertiser that advertises on Twitch and tell them like, oh, this platform is anti-Semitic. Look at these articles that were written about how anti-Semitic this platform is. Please, you know, reconsider advertising on this platform. They've been doing this for quite a while to limited success. And this is also alongside the initiatives to go to ADL directly to try to get the ADL to add new restrictions on what you can and can't say on this platform, including but not limited to content classification labels that were implemented. I use them right now. That's why it says sensitive content when I talk. And also the new additional qualifications for hate speech, including but not limited to saying Zionist. Now, you can still talk about Zionism in the new restrictions, but you can't say, you know, Zionist insert animal, for example. Like, that's something you cannot say. Now, it's a clear-cut caving into capitulation to outside organizations, but, you know, it is what it is. So what's interesting about it is that there were some content creators, including but not limited to the Stock Guy, and Lacey and many other people like FaZe Lacey, FaZe Ronaldo, the Stock Guy, and numerous other content creators who had said that they were noticing like a severe revenue loss, right? I think Moon had said something about it as well. Some of these guys were basically memeing, like they were just meta chasing, which is what happens. And then there was also very real, there were very real instances of people losing all of their advertising revenue, like Hasan, who's also another FaZe member. Hasan is Iranian. I had a conversation with him directly, if you remember. And he had Iranian as a tag on his Twitch profile for the longest time because he's Iranian and he wants Iranian people to come and watch him. And basically they had just, Iran as a tag, sorry. Basically, Twitch just removed all of their advertising revenue and didn't serve any ads on his page, specifically because it had Iran as a tag. Same with Venezuela, which I think is really, it's really f***ed up overall. But the point is, all of this is happening because Twitch is caving to outside pressure coming from, these organizations like the ADL and hoping that like advertisers don't just like run away from the platform because these guys are pretty aggressively pursuing that. And everything is coming from like an incredibly cynical place. Obviously, these are like Kick streamers that are conducting this mass brigading campaign. Ironically enough, and as I say this as someone who is quote unquote woke, right? Who has been on every platform from Facebook to YouTube to Instagram to TikTok to Twitch, that Twitch, of course, has the most restrictive terms of service out of all of these other websites. They do a fantastic job with that, which is why it's ironic that these other platforms where there's no real rigorous application of terms of service can turn around and be like, these guys are actually the real anti-Semites. I promise. Don't look at us. Look at them and pull your ads. So, it's a weird situation overall, but I think a lot of people were a little confused. And originally, the Stock Guy had said that he had seen a severe loss of revenue and he didn't understand what was going on. But it turns out the severe loss of revenue came from the fact that he had an election tag from his stream because he was covering the election.
I went to my tags, and my tags were, my normal tags. But I had a tag that said election because I had covered the market's reaction to the election. Not politics, not personal politics, not policy, just the market's reaction. And so Friday before stream, I decided to take that tag off. I took off veteran as well, just in case. And guess what? It came back.
Yeah.
So there's not a f***ing adpocalypse. I never said there was an adpocalypse. I said that I'm being affected by other people's shit. And so what did I do? I took off the election tag, and guess what happened? My money came back. So sorry, drama frogs who were like, this is an adpocalypse. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is a advertising thing that is happening with a specific subset on the platform. And I took it off, and guess what? I'm back.
Yeah. Anything that is like even remotely political, remotely considered political, is now automatically, it seems, qualifying you as like a political content creator. And if you are in that political content creator category, it seems like they still haven't, because it's a new category, they automatically don't have ads on that category. They will eventually have ads on that category as well. But because it's a new category, they haven't started serving ads to that category. But right now, as it stands, there's no ads if you are doing political commentary. Now, you know, this doesn't bother me at all, because knowing that this was always an inevitable possibility, I have always worked on ensuring that I have that my primary revenue source is subscribers, you guys. I don't work with advertisers that I don't feel like I want to work with. I don't work with advertisers usually anyway. And this is, a part of that. I mean, it's really frustrating in general, but this is part of the reason why for years and years I have maintained the position that it's like a much better way to have editorial control and have more freedom with what you can and can't say. If you are to work with a base of subscribers rather than rely on, running ads. It's very frustrating though for smaller content creators who are up and coming, who are in this space, who want to, generate income for themselves or have been relying on the income for themselves. I think it's like, it's really messed up that those guys end up getting f***ed over by this process. As is the case with everything else, like this only harms smaller content creators, but of course, seemingly no one gives a shit about them. And it's very, very, very frustrating. But overall, advertisers don't really look at anything super seriously. They don't want any sort of motion. Like, they're not going to assess the situation and be like, is this cynical or is this serious? This doesn't mean there isn't a concerted brigade effort cynically mass spamming emails to advertisers urging them to pull ads. There very clearly is one. Ironically enough, it's being led by Kick streamers who happen to have a contract with Kick. Very interesting predicament. So that's what's going on here. So far, there hasn't been any real evidence as to this being like a mass adpocalypse. But I mean, look, I know how advertisers work, right? I'm familiar with how advertisers work. I worked in advertising. I know that when they hear any sort of drama or any sort of controversy, they're going to be like, oh, I don't want my fucking brand associated with that. I don't even give a shit what it is, right? Nobody, until it's like Black Lives Matter protests happening all around the nation, you're never going to see a marketing campaign that, puts politics in the forefront. So for that reason, I think the CCL designation isn't necessarily bad. Like, the new content classification label for politics is not bad, because I think it partitions off political commentary in a separate space on this platform. I think it's bad in the interim period, and it's bad because, like, of course, when they apply something like this, randomly people catch strays like Hasan and like some others. But overall, making sure that this kind of content still exists, as long as it does not violate clear-cut, hate speech boundaries, this kind of content existing in a separate category that is sheltered from the rest of the advertising that's running on the platform is a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing at all, because I don't want content creators on this platform to like lose out on revenue opportunities for themselves. I don't. I want them to keep making money and make a career out of this sort of thing. I think it's ridiculous that like there are people who are championing this cause. Is the adpocalypse both a subsequent issue because of Islamophobia and anti-Semitism? No, Islamophobia is not a reason for the adpocalypse. I don't think it's a reason for the adpocalypse. If anything, Asmongold being banned primed his audience to maybe take action and join the cause and join other communities that were already brigading. But there is no real, like, as far as I know, as far as I understand so far, there is no real adpocalypse. A lot of the content creators that said that they reported massive loss of revenue have either openly admitted that they were farming, joking, or whatever the There was a clip from PlaqueBoyMax who was talking about how like Lacey and Ron are just clip farming and they shouldn't do that because there's, you know, people like Hasan who are legitimately experiencing like a loss of revenue because they're catching strays. Here it is. Yeah.
Literally got demonetized because of who he is. So did X. Now, Twitch, fix that. 2, the reason I said I love Lacey, because I don't want to start no problems. And it's not that big of a deal to start problems, but, and when this rage bait type shit happens, when this happens, it causes people to take Hasan's situation less serious. When it's actually something serious. He didn't get money for no reason. So please be aware of that, okay? Ron, I don't know Ron shit, but he's rage baiting, okay? This is not serious. Ron rage baited too. That's also not serious. Please don't take these niggas serious. And it kind of make it belittle Hasan's situation, or if X go through it when it is serious, they didn't get paid. You know, like Hasan dead ass is going through that. So yes, please, Twitch.
Ron wasn't clip farming. Twitch had the political tag on a stream because he was watching the election. Oh, okay. Anyway, did you see Ludwig's video about this? I thought it was more serious than it is after watching this, watching his video. Yeah, I didn't watch Ludwig's video on this at all. But I also know more than he does on this issue. I'm on the platform. I talk to other content creators on the platform. And I'm also very, like, I am probably other than like Destiny and Dan Saltman, the people who have conducted this campaign, and maybe to a certain degree, Ethan Klein, I am probably the most knowledgeable party on what is actually happening. So, yeah, no, I don't see any reason to watch Ludwig's video where it very clearly is like uninformed. Especially considering that he himself was duped by a misgive clip farm that he, I guess, deleted as well from his YouTube video, as I learned about yesterday morning. You know, no disrespect. I love Lud. Ludwig is the GOAT. And I find it very funny that people find it in their heart to hate on a guy when he is basically a golden retriever. Straightforwardly, he is one of the most mathematically likable people on the planet. So whenever people get mad at him, I'm like, that's insane. Like, you have to be so far off base to just be like hating on this fucking guy. Like, he's a dork. He's funny. And he is a well-natured person. It is wild to get mad at him. It just feels weird. That's neither here nor there, but I think it says a lot about people. I think the platform taking actions to just say like, no, this kind of content exists on the platform, but in a totally separate vacuum is an appropriate thing to do, because then they can go back to advertising and be like, yeah, this kind of stuff is whatever. It's neither here nor there. Here's our terms of service. We don't allow any sort of like extremist sentiment. And also, even then, when we have different content classification labels, there's like international standards for this sort of stuff, some of which is very strict and is like straightforwardly anti-free speech. I think for them, they're just doing their very best to work through this process. This is the same conversation that happened with smut streamers. Yeah. The difference between what's going on right now versus like hot tub streamers is that there wasn't one group of people that were like clipping, you know, Amaranth streamer or whatever and sending it to every advertiser to be like, Doritos, your ads are running against these, these hot tub streamers. Do you feel like it's appropriate, you know? And then lie basically too. Like in this circumstance, they would have to lie as well and claim that they're doing nudity or whatever and not just like in a hot tub. If they were to do that, then I'm sure there would have been a similar level of motion to that as well. Yeah. And Congress people were not, you know, writing with the congressional letterhead, letters to Twitch talking about, and Amazon talking about like Amaranth's hot tub streams must be put to an end or whatever. I love how everybody think you got Ludwig to remove a part of his video, though you never even watched it. Yeah, that part of the conversation is somewhat tangentially related to what I'm talking about here as well. But that is just an unfortunate byproduct of easily brigadable subreddits that still play somewhat of a formative role in the way that people understand what's going on in the platform. Everyone is busy. This is a principle that I've held on to for a very long time. Everyone's busy, so they don't have time to like investigate this stuff thoroughly. And so when enough people can go and brigade a subreddit where like people can just like quickly try to figure out what the fuck's going on, and every single comment is like aligned in a certain perspective, then yeah, of course, people are not going to look into it a little bit. They're not going to look into it any further. They're just going to take it for granted that like I hold the the purse for Twitch. I'm the puppeteer of Twitch, and also simultaneously am the reason why there is an adpocalypse happening, because I'm a lover of terrorism and also a massive anti-Semite. Now, of course, all of that is untrue, but it doesn't really matter. I speak for 8 to 10 hours a day. You can clip me out of context to make it seem like I'm on board with anything, really, at that point. I talk about a litany of different issues. So it is what it is. But I do think that, even people who could have had like direct access to someone like myself to ask me what they think is going on, like Ludwig, can sometimes get duped by mischief, clip farming, and trying to get a upvoted Reddit post on LSF.